Your 20s feel like financial chaos, don't they? Everyone you know is financing vehicles they can't truly afford, drowning in educational debt for qualifications that barely guarantee employment, and somehow believing that premium coffee and fancy brunches are justified daily expenses. You're probably questioning whether you should handle money differently or if you're headed toward joining those people who constantly stress about finances while ordering food delivery multiple times weekly. Let me share something that might surprise you. The financial choices you make during your 20s will decide if you spend your 30s accumulating real wealth or continuing the endless cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. Most people get this entirely wrong. They believe their 20s are meant for spending on experiences and material things, while their 30s are when financial responsibility begins. That's equivalent to deciding you'll prepare for a marathon on race day itself. I'm Chris, and I've dedicated significant time understanding why certain individuals break free from financial struggle while others remain trapped forever. If you're exhausted watching your bank balance stay disappointingly stagnant every single month, subscribe and hit that like button, because we're exploring 7 financial decisions that can genuinely alter your entire economic future. Before we examine these 7 transformative decisions, let me establish something important up front. I'm not a certified financial advisor, and nothing here constitutes official financial guidance. These represent lessons gathered from observing people's financial successes and failures, including my personal journey of making brilliant choices alongside terrible mistakes. What I'm presenting today are the decisions that repeatedly appear in lives of individuals achieving financial freedom while they're young enough to appreciate it. The truth is, most people navigate their 20s completely incorrectly. They assume this decade is for maximum enjoyment, spending every dollar earned and postponing financial concerns indefinitely. However, people who grasp compound growth understand that your 20s represent when modest, intelligent choices generate massive long-term outcomes. $100 invested strategically at 25 becomes thousands at 50. $100 wasted on depreciating items becomes nothing except fading memories and possibly lingering debt. Let's begin with decision number 1, which might surprise you since it's not a traditional one-time purchase. It's launching a secondary income stream. Now, you're probably thinking, Nick, that's not really buying something. But listen carefully, because this is precisely where most people misunderstand completely. They assume starting side businesses costs nothing, but truly successful ventures require initial capital investment for proper launch. Whether purchasing photography equipment, investing in domain registration and website hosting, buying tools for service-based businesses, or simply acquiring educational resources to master valuable skills, starting additional income streams almost always demands upfront financial commitment. During your 20s, this could represent your single most valuable investment because it holds potential to revolutionize your financial trajectory faster than virtually anything else. The magnificent aspect of side businesses in your 20s is you likely haven't accumulated mortgages, children, or numerous financial obligations holding you back. You possess freedom to experiment with ventures that might fail. When failure happens, recovery comes quickly, but when success arrives, financial worries might disappear permanently. Here's what people consistently miss about side ventures, though. They attempt launching something completely unrelated to their natural abilities instead of leveraging existing strengths. If you naturally understand automotive mechanics, begin there. If technology and digital platforms make sense to you, create something in that domain. If photography comes naturally, explore related services. The objective isn't chasing whatever appears most profitable online currently. The goal is discovering something aligning with your talents and passions, then investing appropriately to execute properly. The second life-changing decision involves investing in broad market index funds, specifically through tax-advantaged retirement accounts like Roth IRAs. This is where compound growth truly demonstrates its extraordinary power. Your 20s provide the ultimate competitive advantage, time itself. Let me present mathematics that might genuinely shock you. If you contribute merely $200 monthly into an S&P 500 index fund beginning at 22, and that investment appreciates at the historical average of roughly 10% annually, you'll accumulate over $1 million by 67. $200 monthly over 45 years creates millionaire status. That's under $7 daily, generating seven-figure wealth. But here's the critical part. If you postpone starting that identical investment strategy until 32, you'll finish with approximately $700,000 instead of $1 million. Delaying 10 years ultimately costs $300,000. This demonstrates why your 20s matter tremendously for wealth accumulation. The magnificence of index funds is they're essentially the dependable, unsexy option of investment choices. They won't promise overnight riches and won't provide thrilling party conversation, but they consistently surpass most actively managed alternatives. They maintain minimal fees and distribute your risk across hundreds of corporations instead of gambling everything on individual stocks. When you execute this through a Roth IRA, your profits grow entirely tax-free. Every growth dollar remains yours instead of going toward taxes. It's like establishing a backup system operating silently in the background while you concentrate on other priorities. The critical element is automating these contributions so money gets invested before appearing in your checking account. When you never see it, you won't spend it. Decision number 3 might appear frivolous initially, but represents one of the smartest investments possible. Purchase airline tickets. Travel during your youth, but approach it strategically. This isn't about depleting savings on expensive vacations for social media validation. This concerns investing in experiences and connections that transform your worldview and reveal opportunities you never imagined existed. Traveling during your 20s builds confidence like nothing else. When you successfully navigate unfamiliar cities, communicate despite language differences, and solve problems in foreign environments, you cultivate self-reliance that endures lifelong. You also encounter people from diverse backgrounds and industries who might become invaluable connections eventually. The intelligent approach involves maximizing credit card rewards and loyalty programs. Obtain a travel rewards credit card, utilize it for regular expenses, and pay the complete balance monthly without exception. Never maintain balances, but accumulate those points and redeem them for complimentary or significantly discounted travel. This strategy simultaneously helps establish excellent credit scores, which becomes incredibly beneficial when you're ready for homeownership or real estate investing. The fourth transformative decision is education, but definitely not the type creating $100,000 debt burdens. I'm discussing books, digital courses, professional workshops, and learning that enhances your marketplace skills and overall value. This honestly represents one of the most powerful investments available because acquired knowledge compounds for decades. A $20 book can completely shift your entire money mindset and success perspective. Several $100s invested in legitimate educational courses can teach skills increasing your annual income by thousands. The operative word here is legitimate. Avoid those $1,000 courses from individuals posing beside rented luxury vehicles. Instead, focus on learning from people who've genuinely built successful enterprises or careers in fields you're exploring. Your brain demonstrates maximum adaptability during your 20s, meaning you can absorb new skills faster than ever again. Capitalize on that advantage. Whether learning programming, understanding digital marketing strategies, developing sales expertise, or mastering skilled trades, every skill acquired becomes permanent arsenal additions for the remaining lifetime.
Decision number 5 represents the significant one frightening most 20-somethings, but can absolutely revolutionize your financial destiny. Purchase real estate. Now, I understand your thoughts. I can barely afford basic groceries, much less property ownership. But hear this explanation, because creative approaches exist, making this achievable, even without substantial capital. Real estate accelerates wealth accumulation through 3 primary mechanisms: First, properties generally appreciate in value over extended periods. Second, when you rent portions of the property, you generate income helping cover mortgage payments. Third, you're utilizing leverage, meaning you control valuable assets with relatively modest down payments, and other people essentially finance your investment through rental payments. If affordability presents challenges, consider house hacking strategies. Purchase a duplex and occupy one unit while renting the other, or buy a single-family home and rent individual rooms to housemates. You could even explore short-term vacation rentals through platforms like Airbnb if your local market supports it. The objective is letting others pay your mortgage while you build equity and benefit from property appreciation. It's definitely not always simple and certainly requires more active management than index fund investing, but the wealth-building potential is tremendous. The sixth decision might sound mundane, but actually represents one of the most significant financial choices you'll make during your 20s. Purchase affordable, dependable transportation. Notice I didn't say purchase a vehicle, I said purchase transportation. There's a massive distinction, and understanding this difference could save literally hundreds of thousands over your lifetime. Most 20-somethings believe they need impressive vehicles to appear successful. They finance $30,000 vehicles they can't afford, making payments consuming enormous portions of their income for 6 or 7 years. Meanwhile, that identical money could be growing through investments, compounding into serious wealth by age 40. Here's the harsh reality about vehicles. They are absolutely not investments. They're depreciating liabilities, costing you money monthly. The instant you drive new cars off dealership lots, they lose thousands in value immediately. It's like incinerating money, except less entertaining, and you still owe payments. Instead, purchase a 3 to 5-year-old Honda Civic, Toyota Corolla, or similarly reliable vehicle for $10,000 to $15,000. Pay cash when possible, or finance for the shortest term available. These vehicles will operate for 200,000 miles with proper maintenance, and they're inexpensive to insure and repair. The money saved by avoiding car payments can be invested instead. Let's say you avoid a $500 monthly car payment and invest that money at 8% returns. After 30 years, you'll accumulate over $600,000. That's the genuine cost of maintaining car payments during your 20s, not merely the money paid, but the money not invested. Additionally, when you're not stressed about car payments, you have more freedom for career risks. You can leave unsatisfying jobs, launch that business, or accept positions with growth potential but lower starting compensation. Financial freedom begins with eliminating unnecessary monthly obligations, and car payments usually represent the largest unnecessary expense people maintain. The seventh and final decision that can transform your life is investing in your personal health. This one gets overlooked constantly because benefits aren't immediately apparent and neglect costs don't materialize right away. But your health determines everything else. How intensely you can work, how long you can pursue your ambitions, how much energy you have for side ventures, and whether you'll actually survive to enjoy the wealth you're building. I'm not discussing spending thousands on expensive gym memberships or hiring personal trainers, although those might be worthwhile if you'll actually utilize them. I'm discussing the fundamentals that most 20-somethings completely ignore because they feel invincible. Nutritious food instead of surviving on energy drinks and fast food, consistent sleep instead of pulling all-nighters weekly, some form of exercise that doesn't involve walking from your couch to the refrigerator. Your 20s are when you establish habits that will either support your goals or sabotage them for the next several decades. If you're constantly exhausted, stressed, or managing health problems that could have been prevented, it doesn't matter how brilliant your investment strategy is. You won't have the energy or focus to execute it properly. The hidden cost of poor health during your 20s isn't just medical expenses, although those can definitely accumulate. It's the opportunity cost of not being able to work at full capacity, not being able to capitalize on opportunities when they emerge, and potentially having to spend your later years managing preventable health issues instead of enjoying your wealth. Plus, let's be honest about something. Building wealth requires sustained effort over many years. Whether managing a side business, staying disciplined with your investments, or dealing with the challenges of property ownership, you need physical and mental energy to make everything work. If you're running on empty because you've been treating your body like a garbage disposal, you're sabotaging your own success. The smart approach is thinking of health investments as performance enhancers for everything else you're trying to accomplish. Better sleep means better decision-making. Better nutrition means more consistent energy levels. Regular exercise means better stress management and mental clarity. These aren't luxuries or nice-to-haves. They're fundamental requirements for building the kind of life you actually want. Now, here's what connects all 7 of these decisions. They're all about playing the long game instead of optimizing for short-term gratification. Every single one requires you to think differently than most people your age. While everyone else is focused on appearing successful right now, you're focused on actually becoming successful over time. This is where the compound interest concept applies to more than just money. Every good decision you make in your 20s compounds into better outcomes later. Every side business skill you develop makes you more valuable in the marketplace. Every dollar you invest grows exponentially over decades. Every relationship you build through travel or education can open doors years down the road. Every month you avoid car payments frees up capital for wealth-building activities. But the opposite is also true. Bad financial decisions compound negatively. Credit card debt compounds against you. Car payments prevent you from investing. Neglecting your health creates problems that get more expensive to fix over time. This is why your 20s matter so much. You're not just making decisions about today, you're making decisions about the trajectory of your entire life.
The mistake most people make is thinking these 7 decisions are separate when they're actually all connected. Your side business success depends on your health and energy levels. Your ability to invest in index funds depends on not having massive car payments eating up your income. Your travel experiences can lead to business connections that accelerate your side venture. Your real estate investments can provide the passive income that gives you freedom to take bigger risks with your business ventures. This interconnected approach is what separates people who build serious wealth from those who just stumble from one financial decision to the next without any coherent strategy. When you understand how these decisions work together, you start making choices that reinforce each other instead of competing for your limited resources. But here's where most people completely mess this up, and it's not what you'd expect. They try to do everything at once. They want to start 3 different side businesses, maximize retirement contributions, book trips to 5 countries, buy a house, and completely overhaul their diet all in the same month. Then they get overwhelmed, abandon everything, and go back to buying stuff that makes them feel successful for about 5 minutes. The smart approach is to prioritize these decisions based on your current situation and build momentum gradually. If you're drowning in credit card debt, focus on the side business first to generate extra income. If you're already earning decent money but spending all of it, start with automating your index fund investments and buying reliable transportation instead of financing something flashy. If you're stable financially but stuck in your comfort zone, invest in education and travel to expand your perspective and opportunities. The psychological aspect of this is crucial and something most financial advice completely ignores. Making smart decisions in your 20s requires you to be comfortable being different from your peer group. While your friends are financing new cars and spending everything they earn on experiences designed for Instagram, you're buying boring index funds and driving a 5-year-old Toyota. While they're complaining about being broke, you're quietly building a foundation that will support you for decades. This is where the real test comes in. Can you handle your friends thinking you're cheap or boring? Can you resist the urge to upgrade your lifestyle every time you get a raise? Can you stick with your investment plan when the market drops and everyone around you is panicking? These aren't just financial decisions, they're character-building exercises that determine what kind of person you become. Here's something nobody talks about regarding wealth building in your 20s. The habits you develop now will determine how you handle money for the rest of your life. If you learn to live below your means, automate your investments, and resist lifestyle inflation in your 20s, you'll naturally continue doing those things as your income increases. But if you develop a pattern of spending everything you earn and justifying purchases based on emotions instead of logic, that pattern becomes incredibly difficult to break later. The people who build wealth aren't necessarily smarter or more disciplined than everyone else. They just developed better money habits earlier in life and let compound interest do the heavy lifting. The people who struggle financially often make the same fundamental mistakes over and over again because they never learned to think long-term about their financial decisions. Look, your 20s will pass by whether you make smart financial decisions or not. The only question is whether you'll look back at 30 wondering where all your money went, or you'll be sitting on a foundation that gives you actual choices about how to spend your life. These 7 decisions aren't just about building wealth. They're about building the kind of person who understands that real success isn't about impressing strangers with stuff you can't afford. It's about having the freedom to wake up every morning and decide what you want to do with your day instead of what you have to do to pay bills. Start with one of these decisions today, because 10 years from now, you'll either thank yourself or wish you had.